Okay, today on my 2016 Mercedes Sprinter, I'm gonna clean the EGR valve, which is right here. So this is the servo motor on top, and then this is the coolant hoses that go into it. So first things is you gotta loosen up the oil fill here. Take that out, and then you can swing the oil fill out of the way like so, and then you can loosen up these bolts, that one there, and I go across the diagonal, that way I kind of torque it evenly across the flange. And they're not in too tight, so that's good. Okay, then you can pull them out. Now this connector has to be removed. So see this gray part here, you have to slide that back and then pull the connector off. So I use a little screwdriver, pry in there, make it easier, especially with my big fingers. So pull that in like that, and then just pull this connector off and move that out of the way. Then once you get that out of the way, you have to kind of twist this to pull it out. Try to wiggle it around. Here we are, now it's moving. And then that's how you pull it out. And see how dirty it is? So to save this gasket, you could reuse it or buy a new one. So you see how it's so filthy. Some people disconnect the radiator hoses, coolant hoses, but I don't do that to waste fluid. So now just spray this in here with some carb cleaner. Look how that cleans it right off right away, see? And just try not to get it all over the place. See how it's still kind of starting to spring back better, but see how it sticks? See how it's stuck there? That's what happens when you're driving and it drives erratically. So then you clean all this. I'll get a with an old toothbrush too, helps. And then also inside here, clean all that out. And get rid of all that carbon. Okay, now you can put it back together once you got it nice and clean. See, it's really clean there. And then on the inside, it's nice and clean. So you make sure you get it lined up with the gaskets in there. And just slide it right down, line up your holes on the gasket. And drop it right in, like that. Then you can put in the bolts once you make sure your gasket's lined up. This you can even move out of the way. For now, I like to leave it in though when you're spraying around, just so that you don't get any carb cleaner in the engine oil. Okay, taking out for a test drive. So I'm taking it on this windy road because this is normally where the transmission wouldn't seem to act weird on these lower speeds and going around corners and accelerating. And see, it sounds really smooth now. Yeah, it's really running nice. Let's see on this hill here how it performs. So I'll slow down for the corner. See, oh yeah, it downshifted great. Or normally it would get all like weird and choppy. Let's see how it shifts back up. Oh yeah, nice and smooth. So you might have transmission problems that seem like it's the transmission problems, but it's the EGR valve that's causing the problem because the engine isn't performing well, so the transmission gets all messed up. So that, just to let you know, that's what the problem is. What we're gonna do is my friend's EGR valve isn't working well on his van, 2008 Dodge, actually, not a Dodge Sprinter. So he's gonna videotape while we take it apart. So you got to take this oil fill off and swing it out of the way, like so. So there's 4 screws. So this one there, and then 2 back here. I'm using just a regular 6-point socket. It seems to work on the Star drives. Here. So I had to move the hose clamp out of the way, but that can be in the way sometimes. And that's the last bolt. Okay, and then this connector, you have to push this little lever here and pull down on it, and that'll pull the connector off. Now you leave the these are these are coolant hoses, so you can leave them on. Some people take them off, but I don't do that. And then you gotta kind of finagle this. It's probably been in there a while.
101,000 miles.
Can we get it off is the question.
Okay,
So
it's really stuck.
So we have to hit, there's a little lip in the back here with this cold chisel and a hammer. I was hitting here while Patrick was, and we think we got it now. Yep, oh yeah, there we are. So we had to do that to get it out. Let's see what it looks like. It seemed like it was in there so tight. Oh yeah, look at that. So that's really filthy. Let's see how it springs back. Yeah, not so good. It's hard to, so it's, this one, would you say it was 101,000
Yep.
miles? Never been changed, so.
No, never been touched.
So it's pretty dirty. And in here, see, look how dirty that is in there. So what happens is all this carbon builds up on this flange and you can't get it out.
Right.
And then down in there, there's a lot of carbon down inside. Nasty. Oh yeah, look at that. So it's really caked up with carbon in it. So we'll clean that out, clean this all out, and see how it runs. Okay, so we're gonna spray this with carb cleaner. Give it a little shot. Look at all that caked on stuff. And then in here, clean all that. Oh yeah, look at that. It's really actually thick. So we might need to use a brush or something. Clean it up with a toothbrush. Look how clean it is in there. Wow. So now we'll put it back together and test it out. It moves freely. So we reassembled it now, and now we're gonna take it for a startup and test it out.
Well, it definitely sounds better.
Yeah.
It smells better.